Let me take you back to where this all started. I start to climb this final sort of 35, 40 foot section, peering off over that ledge with that drop sort of down to my left-hand side. And it was only as I transferred my weight from my right to my left leg, and as I leant to say something, that the section of rock that I just happened to be stood on, which was probably 4 foot wide and 2 foot deep, broke away from the top of World's End and dropped and tilted and sort of peeled off. And obviously I went with it. I knew that there was a 180 foot drop below me, and really the chances of surviving were slim. By the time mountain rescue team have turned up, by the time the Coast Guard helicopter is hovering above that rock face at World's End, we've been there for about 3 hours. And I've gone through that wave of emotion and fear and vulnerability. But just before I'm lifted off and I'm flown off to hospital, I think I realised that there was a really important thing that I had to do right here, right now. So whilst I didn't feel brave or courageous or resilient, far from it, the promise was, and the commitment to myself was, whatever happens next, just don't let it beat you. And whatever this turns out to be, just don't give up. That started, like I said, a 5-month journey through intensive care, coming around the next day, being told really in very black and white terms that as I'd landed, I'd broken my back into 2 pieces and I'd severed my spinal cord. The surgeon's words were, come to terms with what's happened, learn to accept that life is going to look a little bit different moving forward, and focus on the opportunities of the future. Don't focus on the opportunities of the past that you've lost. So we drove 2 hours from where I was going through my rehab to a kayak and canoe store in Manchester. This is a person that had never kayaked or canoed in his life before, and went up to the guy at the counter, spent all of the money I'd saved in hospital on a sea kayak, a paddle, a buoyancy aid, lots of things I had no idea what they did, but I knew that it was on the shelf and it looked like I needed it, so I bought it. This was a period that was defined by a sense of determination and perseverance. So I called up 4 friends that I'd met through one of the military charities, and I pitched them this idea. Do you fancy kayaking from Land's End to John O'Groats with me? 1,400 kilometres, I reckon it'll take us over a month, never been done before. I didn't know the 3rd bullet point, which we would find out later, that we were about to tackle some of Europe's most dangerous coastal waters. And after 26 days, we rounded the final headland, and John O'Groats was a matter of a kilometre in front of us, and we did it. In 26 days, the team of 5 unexperienced sea kayakers, the team of 5 with a life-changing injury that had each faced that moment of change, drastic change, arrived in John O'Groats, which is, for those who haven't been, a Scottish car park with a signpost. But to me, that overcast, drizzly Scottish day felt like the summit of Mount Everest. And I remember saying yes before I knew what on earth. It was just the name. The name got me. World Marathon Challenge sounded cool. So what it is 7 marathons, 7 consecutive days, 7 continents. So I think 150 people in history had done it to this point, Ranulph Fiennes being one of them. Before you know it, it's day 1, you've just landed in northern Antarctica, the temperature's about -27, the wind speed's about 60 miles an hour, and you're kind of crossing this frozen landscape. And for me, there was a huge degree of unknowns and uncertainty. And finally, 7 long days later, it's 2 in the morning local time in Miami. That has been the end point of this story so far, trying to pursue that bigger, wider purpose. It's led to things that I never thought I would achieve in my life.